welcome to this very special episode of Extra Butter. Yay, the return of Extra Butter. It is. It's it's our first in our series of wrap-up specials, wrapping up 2021. In this episode, we're focusing on one of our favorite, what would we call it? Subcultures, subgenres? I don't know. But it's K-pop, Korean culture, all the best in the Korean pop culture and entertainment industry for 2021. So welcome, sit back, enjoy the ride as we take a look back at K-pop 2021, the year that was. So, you ready to talk about all that went down in K-pop culture this year, Tammy?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I'm excited to see like what we both think about certain things.
Yeah, let's get the heavy stuff out the way. The news. I was surprised about a lot of the scandals in the news that kind of shook it up. Like they talk about us in cancel culture. Our culture ain't got shit on Korean cancel culture.
Not at all.
They cancel your ass for just being a bad boyfriend, Lucas. Um, And I get that there's more to it. And, that whole story about him gaslighting. And gaslighting is a major form of manipulation. So I was like, when I saw he was gaslighting, I'm like, oh God, was he doing something just so mentally horribly? And I was just like, once I read it, I'm like, okay, so this amounts to him just being a horrible boyfriend. And it was some manipulation involved, getting women to pay for shit. But, I was just like, damn. So that was one of the ones that got me because I love me some Lucas. I just don't know that what he did would warrant him losing his career, and he still hasn't been involved in any of the comebacks. So
He hasn't. He's been annihilated.
like Wavy has a new song out, which I like. We'll talk about a little bit later,
But he
but
is nowhere to be found.
nowhere to be found. The day it's like, and the shit popped off the day before him and Henry were supposed to drop Jalapeno. And from the standpoint that the industry that we're in, and you know how it is for you to get caught up in this bullshit. I stick by my original when we originally talked about. Oh, if I was Henry, I would have been all up in his ass because he cost me my money. Like you're gonna have to run me my money now, So what about you? What's another story that kind of took you off?
I think like the huge scandal of Chris Wu,
Oh God, yes.
like the Chinese superstar. And granted, like I never heard, I couldn't associate his face with his name, but when I started to read about like certain movies that he had been in, and he was one of the beginning members of EXO, but he was out before EXO became as huge as they are, so we don't really count him as an actual member. That was a big deal because that was like criminal activity that he was doing, like criminal activity. And China threw like completely like annihilated him, like canceled him, and nobody cancels like China does.
Thank you. And then for him to be so big and generate so much money for that country, because we know what we've been able to see behind the veil and how they're celebrities. Nothing happens in China without the government being involved.
Nope.
Nothing. So my thing is, who the fuck did you piss off for all your shit to come to bear? Like to me, not saying that what he did wasn't criminal and it didn't warrant it, but he wasn't doing it as secretly as most people thought, is what I'm getting at. So it's like this is a case of he got too big for his britches. He pissed off the wrong people. Something happened for them to just let
And they showed him who was the real boss.
yeah, because this is the same country that I don't know if you heard about their tennis star. I forgot her name.
Who disappeared and then just reappeared and said, "Oh no, I just took a break. I'm good."
Yeah, but she's okay, but no one can find her after she accused her coach of sexual harassment and assault. Yeah, that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she came and said that she was good, but can't nobody prove that she's good besides the video, and no one's heard from her since. And the WTA, the tennis association, is pulling all their shit out of China. So but yeah, that Chris Wu shit was crazy. Um, and the other one that kind of got me talking about former members of groups was The dude who used to be in Big Bang, I forgot his name. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Taeyang.
Um,
No, wait, it's not Taeyang. It's so. Oh my god, it begins with an S.
yes.
I don't know. I know who you're talking about, but I forgot how you say his name. But I know who you're talking about, though. Yeah.
Yes, his scandal was Sungri. What I think I'm probably mutilating his name. I do apologize, but that was really that surprised me too. Um, just how his shit was way criminal. So that though Chris Wu and he deserved to be canceled. They did. I'm not saying that they didn't. They deserved it. That ranks to the hype. But what about the chick? And you know I'm horrible with names, but the chick from that show.
Well, she
Um,
did a gaslight. I know you're talking about from It's Okay to Not Be Okay. She did a lot of gaslighting herself, and I guess this will be a controversial statement. But it's kind of like, well, I mean, when you're kind of like when you're gonna fall for it, like should they fully 100% be canceled completely? And she has not been canceled because she's coming back next year. Next year is going to be a huge year for her. She just took half a year off of a break after it came out with her gaslighting her boyfriend at the time, who's they're no longer together. But yeah, like yeah.
And my thing, what I read from it is, aside from her, and I could get that, what you do in your personal life, if you're, because let's face it, they're human beings, and not everybody is. We all put on a mask. We all have an image. We're all different in private than we are public. Some of us are just bigger assholes or whatever. But that persona, I get. So I'm not expecting her to be peaches and cream and all that. So she was a horrible girlfriend. Her seemed to go a little bit further than what Lucas was. He was just getting money off the girls. She was causing mental health issues and all that shit, not justifying either. So for her being a bad girlfriend, but I also understood that some of this shit, her behavior on set, like she really actually was not the nicest person or the best co-star. So that was a little, should she have been canceled for being a horrible girlfriend? No. Because there have been stars who have been canceled for getting a divorce because they had messy divorces, and and that kind of stuff. And then
There's stuff that wouldn't happen in, I guess, Western society. Yet they still do it.
Yeah, an old boy from our show.
Startup?
No, not the startup. The one, Uncanny Counter. The star Uncanny
Oh
Counter.
yeah, with the false. Oh yes, bullying was another like big
And,
thing this year.
and his shit was proven not to be true. And I read that he's supposed to be coming back, but he had, Uncanny Counter was in the talks to get a second season. They were building up on it. Then all of that just went zero dark 30 for some shit that wasn't even true. So
But
that's just.
So for him it wasn't true, but we had a whole bunch more, like the Su is, I think his name is Sujin. Like he was in A River Runs Through, and he was the star, really good looking guy, but came out that he was a bully for a very very long time, and he really really bullied people when he was in school, and so he got canceled. He got fired from his show, which was like the number one show when it premiered. It was like 3 episodes in, and they fired him. Like it went like he got real cancellation, to the point where they had to announce that, oh, he's going to be enlisting in the military, and taking some time to reflect on himself. I still haven't heard about him actually going to the military, though. I think that was just their excuse for him taking a break and hoping that he can come back and bounce back from his bullying scandal. But there were a lot more bullying scandals that were definitely true, where people had to take time off of their activities in order to reflect on themselves, because that's the key word, reflecting on themselves.
Yeah, I mean, and my question is this, and I get it, and I'm never condoning bullying, but is this stuff that happened when they were in high school, or is this who they still are? Like in this instance of the girl of the star of that show, it's okay not to be okay. A lot of that seemed to be who she is. This is like present. But is this stuff that they did in high school? And I know for some of them, high school was a year or two ago, so I get that those wounds still may be fresh, but are we still holding 26-year-old adults accountable for behavior when they were 15,
Well,
16, and that's not the person who they are
no.
today?
Well,
Or
no, because majority of the bullying scandals that came out was about teenagers. Like they're still teenagers or they're in their early 20s. They're 20, 21, 22, which means that, and they graduate high school, I think, at 19. So that means it's still very, very fresh. Like, I don't think it's very, very rare, except for like Irene from, I think it was last year where she had her full scandal with that. But it's very, they're not talking about like bullying with like old, like late 20s. No, they're talking about bullying with teenagers and early 20s, which means that it's within the time frame of you should know better and you got to deal with the consequences of your actions.
okay. And so was there another big, I'm trying to think. I feel like there was something else that happened just in the news aside from the people who always make the news there, but I feel like there's another story, maybe. I don't know, maybe it'll come to us. But of course, the newsmakers, BTS, who just wrecked shop um, with their concert uh, recently in LA. They wrapped that up, and it was one of the most successful concerts in the last 20 years. Like it had one of the best bullet scores, I think they call it, in the last 20 years. Over 4 days, they made damn near $50 million. They sold out SoFi, sold out the YouTube arena next door, got another 250,000 views online for the final show. So, and I watched it and it was really good. And you could tell it was more about them just being out there having fun, giving back, getting back to the stage, than it was about them just being precise, excellent, on point, every step on point. But it was good to see them have fun. So that was appreciated. And they're going to do the same thing in Seoul in March if God hopefully corona forbids and doesn't mutate anymore into something else stupid and dangerous. So but I was surprised they were able to dominate just off of two songs. Well, one and a half, because Permission Dance is cute, but it's not like my favorite.
Don't lessen permission to dance.
I mean, it served its purpose. Like at the show, when they did, I was like, oh, okay. But it's a song that I truly have to be in the mood for. Like I can listen to Butter, I can listen to Dynamite. If I put on a BTS playlist and Permission to Dance comes up, it depends on my mood if it's something that's getting skipped. And 8 times out of 10, it's gonna probably get skipped. I mean, I'm just being honest. But
Well, they did break records on being number one with all three of their singles that they released when they released Butter. They were number one. Oh gosh, was it 9 weeks in a row, 11 weeks in a row, something to that effect, 9 or 11 weeks in a row. Permission to Dance premiered at number one, and then Butter took the spot back. And then My Universe premiered at number one as well.
Oh yeah, I
Or
love my
debuted at number one as well on the Billboard charts. So
yeah, and
they
it's
definitely had star power this year. We can debate on, everything else, but they did their thing this year. They definitely did with just 3 songs. They did it.
yeah, and their Grammy nomination was, we talked about that, I think, on the news. I'm not going to rehash that, but I still say they got robbed. They should have been nominated for Record of the Year. But now they're on a much deserved hiatus, and they opened up their own personal Instagram accounts for the first time ever, and it's just been hilarious watching some of the stuff they post. I think Sugar and RM are still here in the States. RM is on a museum tour of the States. And who knows where Sugar is? Sugar's just being Sugar. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what 2022 has in store for BTS. They're supposedly releasing a new album sometime next year and all of that. I'm sure they'll continue to dominate and stay in the news, and we'll see what happens. So since we're on musically, let's talk about what were some of your favorite K-pop songs that were released this year. Unless you have anything else from the news, I still feel like I'm forgetting something from the news.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they'll
Oh,
come to you. Come to you, bring it up.
It'll come to me. All
We'll
right,
just let
so
it flow. Let it flow.
let it flow. So what you got for music? What were some of your favorite songs? Some of
Oh
your
my
favorite.
gosh. Like, I have like a full list, but I'm not going to go through the full list.
You
I'm
can
not going to
send
go
me the
through
list,
the
and we'll make a. How about this? Send me the list, and we'll make a playlist.
Yeah.
Because you know
Um,
we haven't been we've been taking a break on the website and stuff while it's revamped. So, but I still post some music for us.
Thank you. No, I'm not going to go through the full list of all the songs that I just absolutely love that were on repeat on my playlist. But I'll name some artists as well that really played a role in my repeat list that came out for Spotify. Like it keeps changing, but they're dominating right now. JB, like
Definitely.
now granted I loved his album. Like JB's album was one of my favorite K-pop albums that came out this year. Like he did a phenomenal job. He's doing just a phenomenal, can I just say all the GOT7 members are doing phenomenal jobs since they did not re-sign with JYP. Can we just take a moment to just enjoy the amazingness that is GOT7 members without JYP?
And I hope they, well, you know, and I realize not every group has got seven, and not all K-pop groups. Like some K-pop groups are put together to just be what they are, and you know, and that's it. And not all of them have achieved that success. But generally, I hope they're the standard bearer for groups who are as talented or have individuals who are as talented and realize that, hey, your career is not over. And that's one of the things a lot of these companies have these kids, because when they sign, they are kids thinking, oh, you're nothing without me. And GOT7 realized their power, and they realized that, hey, it's not that JYP is nothing without them, but JYP is definitely less without GOT7. Like you let a diamond in the rough go. Like I said it when it happened. There is no way in hell I would have ever let GOT7 go. No way. Like,
He wasn't
and I'm
treating
not.
them right though.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. It's not a matter of me trying to do some, you know, mafia shit to keep them. It would have been like they're one of the groups I said would have been the BTS of my fucking company. Like they would have been the thing that I built my company around. Even though you have other groups, but it was just like you did not how did you not fucking realize what you had in them? And like you said, they're all better for leaving. Like, you know, they're still friends, they're still good, they're still a group, but GOT7 itself is on Warner Korea. All of them individually have signed with different companies doing their thing, and they're doing it, you know. So shout out to GOT7 and GOT6 and got whoever individually. But yeah, so I still say JYP took a major L on that one. Major L.
But yeah, so on that note, because I'm just gonna write on that. JB, amazing. I think like two of my favorite songs of the whole entire year was Into You with the artist Ginger, and then By the Way with J Park. Like J Park did a phenomenal job this year as well with Yogi. 17, love their newest album. Purple Kiss, Monster X, like this album, No Limits, love it, love it. I haven't fully listened to their English album that they just released. Um, but one day on their English album, like I loved it when they first released it a couple weeks ago. Like phenomenal, right before Shonu went and enlisted in the military. So still one of my favorite songs. Oh, you know what song I love? And you introduced me to this song, Ten and Yang Yang. Lolo. Like
Oh yeah.
I still got that song on repeat. It made me a fan of Tan. Like 10, I'm like, okay, all right, okay. I like your swag. I like your swag. I like what you're doing. TXT, of course, and Hyphen. You know what my number one song was this year?
What?
And I'm not even like a full fan of their album, but Rosario by Epic High, that was my number one song on Spotify for this year, for 2021.
Damn, you paid it that much?
And like I played the heck out of that song. Like it beat everybody. And I was just like, dang, I didn't even realize I was playing it. But that song is just like, it's a confidence booster. Like I loved it. Like whenever I was going to work and I wasn't feeling like, I really wanted to be there, I would just play Rosario and just walk down the hall playing that in my ear. Like it just always boosted my confidence. So just love it. What are some other ones? Bobby Kai, who just came out with his album, Lehigh Only. Like I think I like I'm starting to really like solo artists. Like I know you've been in that whole genre, but I'm really starting to like solo artists. So there were like a whole bunch of artists, and we'll post my full list because it's very, very long. But those were just some of the artists and the songs that just on my repeat list for this year. What about you, Eddie?
Well, for songs, I loved Jin Young's Dive. It was more of just a pop thing, but I loved it. I loved his voice, and I don't know, I can't promise. It made me actually, because I had kind of put myself in a mindset that Jin Young was just going to focus on acting until GOT7 came back together and did their group thing. And that song, that little teaser of a song, I was just like, it made me actually want a Jin Young album. So I love that. In
Okay,
Hyphen,
can I just say I have a thought on that, right?
yeah,
Because you know how they're still able to use GOT7, the GOT7 name, right? Even though it's trademarked with JYP.
because they had to kiss his ass and walk back some of the shit they said about. Oh, did I say that out loud? My bad.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, you sure that's not part of their contract as well?
What?
Because he wouldn't he get like some of the royalties if they're still using the trademark name?
I'm I'm probably sure if they were smart, they probably would have bought it from him. Like I would have bought the rights. I'm sure Warner
He ain't selling those rights. Stop it. He ain't selling those rights.
He has the. I'm sure he owns the cop. I'm pretty sure this is how it went. Kind of like a lot of people with their masters, like Taylor Swift. Um, Scooter Braun, when he bought her masters, he owned the copyrights to all of her, to everything she did before the album where she went solo and she maintained her own album. So I think it was 2 albums ago. That's why she's re-recording all her previous stuff. And as the songwriter, she can do that. But I'm pretty sure Warner negotiated that, hey, anything from here on belongs to us. Anything in the past belongs to him. So I'm sure JYP still gets royalties and residuals from all the previous GOT7 stuff, from their last album, Last Piece, Last Breath, which was still amazing. From all of that on back. But everything that they do moving forward, I'm pretty sure would belong to Warner.
See,
Korea,
but
and going
I'm
forward.
really I'm just talking about the name. Like,
No, and I'm sure the name went with that. Kind of like Tina
yeah,
Turner when
like,
she divorced Ike. She said, "My name is my name. I worked hard for that. He can have everything but the name." So I'm sure they bought. I'm sure that it was negotiated, and they bought it free and clear.
oh, okay. Because I was thinking of that. They all had to continuously be in circulation in order to not like lose like their name or something like that. Like I felt like that's the reason why Jin Young only came out with that one song, and it was like random. Like it was really, really random. Like he was in the middle of his show, The Devil Judge, and he came out with that song to get it out the way. And I was just like, did you do the song because you had to do the song? Like you have, like, each of you have to come out with something. I don't know. Like it's just something. It's like a feeling I'm getting. Like there's a deeper meaning reason why Jin Young had to come out with a song. Just like they have to come out with music.
But they're not contractually obligated to him, like at all. They like
no, but I'm saying to be able to use the name. To be able to use the name. Like I feel like there has to be some type of deal that was made for them to still be able to use the name.
I'm sure the deal was to walk back because once it was clear that they got to keep the name, they all kind of walked back a lot of the shit they had said about him. Even JB, and it was hard for him. Said nicest things about him. So
my dude Mark never said anything nice.
Yeah, Mark. Mark went American. Fuck it. If
Mark's
I ain't got
gangster.
Mark was like, if I ain't got shit to say, I ain't gonna say it. Fuck that.
But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just like it was just a thought in my head.
But yeah, no, I don't think it has. I don't think that has anything to do with it. But yeah, and I love the song by Mark that he released. I'm waiting for the full thing. Gosh, Yogi, just pick a song by Yogi. It just depends on the day of the week. Like his album and like you said, JB's album are no skip. So just give me any song from those any day of the week and it is playing. Like they're still on repeat. I loved Magic by TXT. I actually became a full-fledged EXO fan this year, which shocked the shit out of me because previous stuff that I tried to listen to, I didn't really like. But my love for Bacon and plus their Don't Fight the Feeling album was excellent. Loved it. And there's a song called Runaway on there that I just love and I play all the time. Advice and Sad Kids by Taemin topped my list. Monster X, again, with the exception of the Japanese album, they've released 4 albums this year, speaking of Monster X, and they have been so busy. Their Dreaming album or In the Dreaming album that they just released, their full English one, it is so good. And it is so different from the one that someone that they released last year. Like Monster X is that group where no 2 Monster X albums ever sound the same. Ever. And this one, the one that they just released, is more along the pop lines. Like it's more of a pop album, where last year's English album was more of an R&B, had more of an R&B feel to it. But they're both just as good. So I hate that Monster X doesn't get more of the props that they deserve. But
They
yeah,
do. They have one of the biggest fandoms in the world.
they do.
They're
But
just not big in Korea.
yeah, and that's what I'm and because of that, but I know they're really big in the States. I think they're actually in the States now. And I
Yeah, they're
know
holding a concert.
and
They're
I
supposed to be
know
having a concert.
and then I know in February they're gonna kick off their tour and stuff, hopefully. Like I said, Rona and her fucking mutated cousins won't ruin people's lives for another year. Um but yeah, and then oh goddamn by I Am from his Duality album. I played that so much. Um I loved My Universe. Out of the 3 songs that they released this year, My Universe with Coldplay, 2 of my favorites coming together, Coldplay and BTS. I loved it. So yeah, Lehigh, of course, BB, Nikki. Like the list could go on and on. I'm like you. I just have a really, really big list, so I'm not going to get into all of that. But it was really, really a great year for music. It wasn't a lot and I find myself saying it wasn't a lot in Korean music it wasn't a lot in American music that I just was like, oh, okay. There were artists that I was waiting for, but it was like Korea, I was just in that bubble, especially like you said, I love the soloist, so I'm always trying to find one. I've never really been big on boy bands. Like I would find a band or a group and that would be it. So, it's like BTS, Monsta X, TXT. I do agree with you. 17's album, their 9th album, Attica, was definitely
Attica.
better. Was definitely better than their 8th album. That 8th one, I was like, "What the fuck? Are y'all about to break up? Is this the end?" Like that was that contractually obligated album, with the exception of Got Seven, whose contractually obligated end of contract album was a fucking mic drop. Like that was their best one to date. I was just like, I think that was the, oh, we gonna show you what you miss, Mo. Like, but yeah. So I don't know what that 8th mini album was from 17, but um yeah. As far as singles go, songs, but um let's kind of switch it up. Well, I guess we can stay with music since we're there. So what about
Yeah,
albums?
I was just
What
about
were
to say, let me throw out some of my albums because there are very few. There's very few times where I can say that a full album just hits me from beginning to end. Monsta X No Limits, like they just put that album out right before their English speaking album, and I love it. That album is on repeat, every single song. I love every single song. TXT, the Chaos Chapter, Freeze. Like I know Fight or Escape made the Times best K-pop albums, but I like their Freeze album better. Like anti-romantic, lover loser, like what is it? Oh my god, the Puma one.
But the thing is, they're albums. Like
They
I
just
think
added some songs. They just added some songs.
yeah,
But
I
like
think
I
they
just
just
want to be
added
very
some
specific
remixes.
on Fight and Escape, yes. But the songs that they added, not really a fan of. But I can listen to the whole Freeze album from beginning to end. I did find some girl groups that I really, really like. Purple Kiss, Hide and Seek. They actually did a really, really good job. They're a group that I think just came out late last year, and I really, really like them. And Flying, Moonshot. Like they're a K-pop group that is a band. So they play instruments and they sing, and their voices are phenomenal. Like I really think like they're some of the best vocalists. Lehigh with For Only, Bobby, can't forget Bobby. Lucky Man. Like kind of sad that he didn't get as much time on his comeback as he deserves. And Hyphen, Border Carnival, not the latest one. Border Carnival with Not For Sale and Fever. Love that album. And of course, JB and Kai. Like those were my favorite albums. Like I have those albums on repeat. I'm playing them over and over and over again. Of course, there are songs that I like in other albums, but those are the albums that I play from beginning to end all the time.
Mm. That's a good list. I can't dispute that. Like I said,
I'm probably
JB,
forgetting people, but those are the ones that I remember.
you forgot Yogi, but it's okay. I got Yogi covered for us. Yogi did the damn thing. Like he was probably the member from GOT7 who got the least amount of shine. So you didn't really know what to expect from him as a soloist. And I think most people thought when he was going with JB or J Park that he would have been a rapper or something. I don't know what I really didn't have any expectations from Yogi. And he shattered that. He picked him up, slammed him on the ground, and he shattered him. Like that dance video he did was just it was just like an introduction. Like you have seen nothing yet. And if his debut album was any indication, like he's going nowhere but up because that was amazing, and it's no skips. Like I listened to it from beginning to end. Like I said before, any given day, any song on here could be my favorite song. I love the song with him and Davida, of course. I've been sick, so I'm more brain fried than ever. That's why I also sound like I'm sucking on a bunch of nachos or I have a mouthful of food. Sorry for that, audience, but um, so I'm just having a brain fart, a major brain fart. But I loved his album. JB, like you said, no skips, beginning to end. It was phenomenal. I loved Ty. I loved Taemin. I think I'm becoming a fan of Taemin. It's amazing. I love all of Super M individually, but I don't love them together. Like I hate Super M as a group. I've tried, but I like them all individually. Like the person that I want to release a full solo is 10. I love 10. Like him and Bacon. I think Bacon and Lucas were the two that I really picked up on first out of Super M. Lucas just because he's a cutie. But Bacon because of his talent. Like he has he's amazingly talented. Can we take a moment of silence and send a shout out to Bacon, who's in the military? Please hurry up and come home, Bacon. I miss you. Okay, let me stop.
Don't he got a whole another year and a half to go?
Um, he went in the
Well, he has a
summer.
year. He has a
Yeah,
year.
he went in the summer. He has a year. And so, yeah, but Bacon, EXO, like I said, don't fight the feeling, no skips. Great from beginning to end, and that shocked the shit out of me. I did not think I would like that album. Um, and just because of Kai's last album, and like I said, individually, I have become a fan of Kai, and I loved his initial album, and I love Peaches. And again, they don't sound exactly the same. Whoever is in charge of Kai's solo career is doing a great job. They found his wheelhouse, that pop R&B hybrid. Peaches is a little bit more, has a little bit more of a poppy feel to it, I guess. Was more sensual, but I still love it. You're right. It was really, really good. And it's been on repeat since it came out a couple of weeks ago or last week. Gray, amazing album. Gray Ground, so good. Loved it. Um, who else? I say Taemin?
BB?
Yes.
You like
Uh,
BB?
I love BB. BB and Lehigh, yes. I love Junie. Junie didn't come out with an album per se, but
Came
I
out with
love
songs.
I love the songs that Junie did. Border Carnival was also on my list, like you said. Um, Gosh, yeah, the list could go on and on. Hoodie, did Hoodie have an album this year? I think she just had some songs that came out.
But he
Um,
had a mini album. Like it
yeah,
was like 3 or 4 songs on the
yeah.
album. It was a mini
I was,
album.
and I also loved, and I don't know if you can count it as K-pop because the song. Oh, um, gosh, DPR Ian had one of my favorite song albums uh this year also. But and DPR Live also had one of my favorite. I love the DPR crew, but the Shang-Chi soundtrack was amazing, produced by 88 Rising, featuring a lot of K-pop stars. It was mostly in English, but it was so good. One of the best soundtracks and one of the best albums of the year. And as I was making this list, I was like, a lot of these albums are on my K-pop thing, but I'd be surprised. I would not be surprised to see them on my top 10 albums list, just because, like I said before, the genre is crossing. K-pop, um, as a genre, is here to stay, and I think people get it confused that it's just BTS and then hyphen in all the groups, and don't realize that it covers so much more. All of the soloists, they have K rock, K alternate. The only thing I don't know if they have is K country. I haven't quite found K
I hope
country,
not.
but K R&B and K hip hop is where I live. Like that's my thing. I never really dove just too deep into the whole boy band thing. I have the groups that I like, but yeah, I've been on the soloist, and that's pretty much where I live. And I could go on and on about the albums and stuff, but I think those are the top ones. But definitely, I would probably put JB at my top. JB, yeah, JB. God, that album was so good. Um, what about, and I'm just gonna put it out there. My most disappointing album was Bam Bam Ribbon.
How dare you do that to Double B?
I love Double B. Don't get me wrong. I love Double B. And I was so hyped and ready
He's
for
doing a
Double
comeback
B.
next year.
That's good. He needs to.
It.
I was so
Damn,
hyped.
Eddie.
I was so hyped and ready for Double B. But dude, I don't know what the fuck that was, because that was not it. Like, Ribbon was not, and I understand people loved it and it was popular, but my question is, did y'all love it and it was popular because it was Bam Bam, or because it was good? Like, I'm gonna go with because it was Bam Bam and he's popular, because it wasn't that great.
It's kind
Although
of like it has the BTS effect. Like BTS can put out anything and it's going to sell. Bam
that's
Bam's the
true.
same way.
Well, Bam Bam needs to, he needs to not do that. He needs to, how do I say, work a little harder at his craft.
Hi, he was the second highest seller in the group.
I know, and I love Bam Bam, and it hurts me to say that, but the album was not good, and you have to admit that. I'm the one being controversial now, and I get it, but you got to admit, I am looking forward to his comeback, and the way they do K-pop albums, I think this is probably what the longest BTS has gone without releasing an album a whole year since they come out.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to their comeback. I'm just looking forward to 2022 in general, but in music, um, and see what happens, especially musically, what's on the horizon for a lot of my favorite artists, and especially what Jay Park has up his sleeve. And oh, and Big Naughty. I loved Big Naughty CD too. I love Big Naughty. I hope he's gearing up for a comeback and all of that. Okay, so I think our last one is film and rolling and scene K dramas. I told
I
you
like that. I like that.
I'm brain fried. Like I'm still recovering from sick brain.
I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. You good. You good.
Um,
Yeah, no, but let's see what Eddie's thinking first. Eddie, what were some of your favorite K dramas that you watched this year?
I will say that I did not watch as many as I had intended. I feel like last year, even though we went back to work, we it felt like we were part time as compared to this year.
Yeah.
So this year has just been a nightmare. The day job is kicking my ass. Let me put it that way. Um, and so I did not watch as many as I set out to watch. Although I am glad that a lot of them are now coming dubbed because you know how I watch TV. Like I'm a multitasker in anything that I do. I try to maximize my time. And K dramas demand your full attention because you gotta read the subtitles. So I am glad that they are dubbing more. And when I have the time, I would prefer to read the subtitles, but sometimes I don't always have the time. But having said that, in 2022, I plan to watch more. But I did find the one that finally beat Itaewon Class,
And which one was that?
Vincenzo. Vincenzo is
Okay,
my
okay.
shit. I recommend Vincenzo to anybody on the street.
Yeah.
What's your favorite drama? Vincenzo. Like, dude, Vincenzo was the shit. True Beauty was a close second. Until I saw Vincenzo, True Beauty had actually edged out Itaewon Class. Just, I believe I told you that. I said,
Mhm.
and it had edged it out just barely. Like it was neck and neck. But when I saw Vincenzo, I'm like, oh shit. Squid Game was good. It lived up to the hype. It did. It did. I can't wait to see the second season. Um, Uncanny Counter was so good. It was really good. I watched Extracurricular. Rugal was good. It had the issues we talked about, but Rugal was actually it was good. Um, and one that we watched, but we haven't talked about. We're saving to the new year, so I'm just going to give people a heads up. Definitely need to check out My Name on Netflix. It is so good. Yeah, I enjoyed that. And then I watched a couple of movies, and one that really stuck with me was Night in Paradise. It was really good as well. What about you? I know Miss K drama queen. You watch more K dramas
I,
than you do
I
American
brought the
TV.
list down. I brought the list down. Like it's a reasonable number. It's a reasonable number. So I'm with you. I would say the number one K drama of this year for me, and I will say that it's definitely in the running of possibly being the number one TV show for me for this year. So definitely stay tuned to our top 10 list that is coming soon. But Vincenzo, like I'm with
Yes.
you. Like Vincenzo was like awesome. Like I can still rewatch that and still be entertained every
Yes.
single time.
Yes.
Like he was a boss. He was a boss. He was a boss. Loved it. Um True Beauty, definitely. Like True Beauty is one of those shows that I continuously watch over and over again. It's really, really good. It gets me every single time. Like I get emotional. Like so, like the first two episodes is where you really get to see the bullying that she went through at her old high school. And it got to the point where I can't even watch those two episodes anymore because it hits me every single time because it's so sad. It was so, so sad. And it's so realistic. It's so realistic. So, but True Beauty, I can watch over and over again. Uncanny Counters was absolutely, absolutely phenomenal. I am hoping that they do a season 2 because they set it up for that. Then of course I have like the dramas that like Eddie you didn't watch, but because I am like the K drama queen here. So My Name, that was really, really good. You watched that one. That was phenomenal. It's only 6 episodes, y'all. Go and try it out. Run On. I think like if I'm looking at a drama, because like Vincenzo is kind of like a drama action a little bit, but if I'm looking or intrigue, but if I'm looking at like just a full on drama series, Run On is like the show that I watch at least once a month. At least once a month, I rewatch Run On. Like it's one of my all time favorite dramas of all time. Then you have Wonder Woman. So, what does that sound like to you?
It sounds like you got your movies and K dramas mixed up.
Exactly right. So it's a play on words. So you're supposed to hear it kind of like Wonder Woman, but it's One the Woman. But it was really good about a woman who just gets amnesia, and she gets mistaken for like this really rich woman who is part of she was married into this really rich family and treated like crap. But it's just like her figuring out like who tried to kill her, and ultimately she gets amnesia, but then she figures it out. Like it's really good, and I was just like, this is a really good show. Stupid name, but really good show. So One the Woman, the number one woman, was really good. Some of my other ones is Imitation, which was kind of giving you a background story of idol life in South Korea. Also, The Red Sleeve and The King's Affection is what I'm watching right now. Both of those are on Netflix, and I am loving those. They're historical Korean dramas, and they're really good. Phenomenal acting. Like I'm really good on like I focus on the talent. And I think that a lot of shows, people kind of get turned off because you have to read subtitles. But when you focus on the talent, like it's just phenomenal. Like they are great actors in Korean entertainment industry. Really great actors, great storylines. They only give one season to their shows, which I think a lot of our shows need to start doing that, because some shows just shouldn't have more than one season. I'm just going to put that out there. Um, but the one show I have not watched, and I feel like I'm never gonna watch it. Like I think this is gonna be on the list, like Parasite, and that's Squid Game. I haven't watched it. I don't plan on watching it. So I'm guessing like you can bug me until I finally break down and decide, oh, okay, like let's make an episode on it.
Yeah,
I'm not guaranteeing it, but like I just do not have any inkling to watch it. But I do hear from everybody that is absolutely phenomenal. It's just not my genre to watch, I think is what it is.
I'm say it again. Spread your wings, birdie, and fly.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick to my K dramas. I'm gonna stick to my K dramas. Like I really watch like real K dramas with like the
It is a
cliches and everything
K-drama.
like that.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I'm very because they are so time consuming. I'm really selective about the ones I watch. I have a lot on my list, but I haven't just fully watched them yet. And plus, some of them I've said before, in my opinion, I guess some of them are just like Korean Lifetime movies, and I don't watch American Lifetime, so I'm not going to watch a Korean version of Lifetime. And then I'm not big on, even though I love history, I'm a history buff, majored in it in college, all of that. I'm not big on historical dramas for some reason, whether they're ours or they're just not my thing. So if it gets me, if I've watched a historical drama, then it has to be something really truly compelling. But I think there should be a hybrid. There are some shows that I would love to see a second season to, and then there are some
Vagabond.
Vagabonds. Yes, definitely. Vincenzo is something that you could go on. True Beauty was wrapped up so nicely in the way they did it. You could maybe see them doing a spinoff, but not necessarily a second season.
That webtoon is still going on right now.
Oh wow! So maybe, and I know the webtoon, the show ended up ending differently than the webtoon. She
Very
made
much
different
so, yeah.
choices. So, but I also love. So I think that some of the Korean dramas may be able to take a little bit from our thing, but like I said, they do, considering that a lot of them are an hour and a half long. They do kind of get into seasons because they're some of them are 20 episodes or whatever. So that hour and a half, 20 episodes would round about to 2 seasons. So some of them wrap up nicely, and some of them I'm like, they leave me wanting more. But in what I've said for American TV for a long time, especially with streaming coming in, our network TV needs to go to the cable model and probably do 10, 12 episode
Half a
seasons. Like
season, yeah. Like, oh, what was that show? Oh my gosh, with Ichabod.
Sleepy Hollow. It should have
Sleepy
remained a
Hollow.
half.
Yeah, like how
It
they
should
first did. Yeah.
yeah, like the mid-season premieres, I think that's the way to go. Cut them down to like 12, maybe 16 max, and then you wouldn't have so many breaks. And that's why network TV, I think, going off on another tangent, is suffering so much. And it's probably something we talk about when we talk about, our top 10. But so I do, in a sense, like the Korean, the scheme, the way they set up their shows and everything. Um, I do like that. And like you said, some shows could be a one and done here, or just shorten the seasons and keep them fresh. Um, but we are seeing a lot of crossover in Korean drama. Like I said before, uh, thank you BTS for being a gateway to not just K-pop, but as far as the music, but K-pop culture, Korean pop culture and entertainment, because I don't know that without their introduction into that a lot of these things would be as popular. What Apple just had its first K drama, Disney is getting its K drama. We know Netflix is the king of K dramas right now. The home, um, for those who don't have Viki, who don't have that actual streaming service, um, I'm sure Amazon is going to get in on it too. So it is here to stay, and we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I'm interested also to see what K dramas we come up with next year to watch. K dramas, K movies, because I actually do love reviewing them, and the ones that we've done so far have been really, really good. Um, so keep an eye out or an ear out for My Name. I know that's going to be one of the first ones on our list for next year. So I can't wait to talk about that with you in detail. It was good. I might watch it again.
You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to.
um, but yeah. And yes, definitely, I'm adding Squid Game to my Inception list because I still got to get you to watch Inception.
Yes, you do.
Um, but yeah. All right. Is there anything else to before we wrap it up with our K-pop wrap up?
Not really. I would just say that phenomenal year for Korean entertainment. Hopefully, Korean culture kind of in certain ways. When you're welcoming in Western influence, that definitely opens the door to some flaws that you may have. That you're hiding behind, because all societies have flaws. We definitely have flaws. Our flaws
Yeah,
are out there for everybody to see.
they don't have mass shootings in their schools, so
Touche. But we all have flaws. But the one thing I will say is, hopefully, they are able to handle having Western influence, and also their windows being open or their curtains being pulled back on how Korean culture is, because I'm finding like YouTube channels that are talking about Korean culture, for people who have grown up in Korea, and all of that. So it's definitely putting a spotlight on Korean culture, and that may not be the best thing. So I just hope they are handling it well, because I feel that next year is going to be bigger than it is this year. And if they continue to push BTS out as the face of Korean culture, then yeah, there's no slowing down the amount of people who are going to be looking and seeing like how y'all do things over there. Just my advice.
yeah, and like you said, trust me, it's advice. It's not people living in glass houses trying to throw stones, because
I know, because we worse.
our shit is definitely fucked. Um, especially just generally culture wise. But yeah, the bullying, just how prevalent it seems to be. And if you watch the dramas, like I said, even the stuff that even our fiction is based on something, you know, it's based on some sort of reality. And for all these shows, if the bully in the shows, like you said in True Beauty, those first couple episodes are rough. Just seeing everything that she went through and seeing how the teachers don't even have a say in it. How it's all set up over there. Um, you know what these kids are allowed to get away with as far as being little mini terrorists, takes it to a whole nother level. And that is something that is just that's kind of like, wow. That surprised me. I think that was one of the things when you lift back that curtain that really kind of surprised me, is just how truly horrible and prevalent it can be. And and how people are just expected to deal with it, I guess. It's not something you talk about. And so, or at least it wasn't. I was reading something like, and it kind of reminded me when we were talking about the whole Monique thing, about how Korean girls are walking out of the house now without makeup and hair rollers, and how it's becoming a thing. Like they may have a roller in to keep their hair from falling if they're going somewhere. And just, I'm like, oh, okay, and how this new generation is not as traditional and conservative as the older generations. And
Mm-hmm.
so there is this generation gap now where they're starting to speak up on the homophobia, the racism, um, the different things. And now, Korea is being called out in some aspects for cultural appropriation. um, and so, and some of it is pure, some of it is downright racism, and some of it is just
Not knowing
you
any better.
not knowing any better, because it is or has been such a homogenous society for so long. So it's just like, as you come into this, welcome, you're going to have the growing pains, and you got to take the good with the bad. So, but yeah, again, I've really enjoyed it. And I can honestly say, I know we haven't got to this episode, but I'll go ahead and say it now and repeat it again. Um, this has been one of the things that's made the last 2 years bearable for me. It's just getting into, I don't, is discovering this bubble, discovering K-pop, the music, the entertainment, the dramas, the movies. It has really made this whole last year bearable, especially in the beginning of 2020, when pretty much everything shut down. So you had this whole new entertainment world that was just open to you, because we could go back and watch things that we hadn't seen before and listen to the music. So and it's not something I thought, oh, maybe it would be a phase, something I would grow out of, but I genuinely enjoy it. And it has become a part of my entertainment. I don't know, I can't think of another word. My entertainment buffet, my entertainment rotation. Like it's not something I'll just listen to because I'm bored. It like I said, K-pop, a lot of it dominated my rap, my Spotify rap. If you go back to my Netflix queue, a lot of it, so yeah, I'm enjoying it. What about you before we wrap up?
No. I would definitely agree with you on how much I'm enjoying it. Because this year again, we're gonna do our second annual shit that got us through 2021. And I will say that, of course, I'll go into more details of exactly how, but K dramas and the music definitely is one of those things that got me through 2021. So, very excited to talk about that when that episode comes out at the end of the year. But yeah, like, no, like it is a bubble that is safe and entertaining, and it's good. It's good. Like I think I'm gonna be staying in this bubble for 2022. Like there are shows that are coming out next year, and I am definitely excited to watch them. And so I'm not stepping out. I'm not stepping out of the bubble anytime soon. Like I'm fully engrossed in this bubble, and I'm just excited to see what the future holds for the music as well as the dramas. And hopefully next year I can get into some movies as well and see how that plays out. But yeah, we're in agreement with that part.
Yeah, the movies are good. The ones I've seen, I've really enjoyed them. And I like different movies. I like I like action, gangster, mafia shit. So I'm there. I'm not really in the rom com type person and all that kind of stuff. I'll watch them, but so um, but yeah, I've seen some pretty good ones. All right, well that's it for this episode. I think it's time to wrap up this K-pop 2021 wrap up. Um, so please be sure to listen, like, follow, and comment on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and or Spotify Podcasts. You can also keep up to date on the latest in entertainment and pop culture news, as well as other amazing kernels at the
Pop, pop, pop,
Popcorn
pop,
Wine
pop, pop.
at the popcornwindown.com. Just a side note, taking a year-end hiatus at the wind down, but the website will still be up. You can catch up on previous posts, music, enjoy it, and we'll be back finally. I've been saying this for a year or a half a year. We're finally going to have a new website when we come back full time in 2021. I'm working on it.
Me too.
So it is going to be good and have some different things, and hopefully, who knows, maybe be able to find time to actually get Wind Down TV off the ground. That is our YouTube channel, for those of you who don't know. Looking to actually do some things with that. When it's a two-person show in the middle of a pandemic with full-time day jobs, it's a little hard to get done everything you want to get done, but it will get done. So thank you for your patience. And that does it. That's it. And thank you as always for joining us. And until next time, I cannot wait till our next one. What are we doing next? The top 10? Top 10?
Yep. Next up is our top 10 list. Top 10 TV shows, top 10 movies, top 10 songs, top 10 albums, top 10 entertainment news stories. Just
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're going to really get into our like best of the best, favorite, funniest moments of 2021.
All right. So that does it. Until next time, as always, thank you for joining us. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy. Bye.
Peace.